Every day is a new beginning. Shine your light. It's a day and the world is waiting. Move along to the song, singing in your soul. Feel the beat, clap your hands, let's take control. All you need, all you want, are you ready to find your way? 'Cause every day is a new day.
Welcome to Wisconsin Family. I'm Janet Cresson.
And I'm Justin Riley, and we are on location at Hanson & Sons Chimney and Fireplace. This is a really cool showroom.
You know, I need to upgrade, Justin. I don't have a fireplace. I've always wanted one so bad. I even had the VCR thing that has the fake fire like on your TV. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, wow. You do.
I did upgrade
Put a
though.
space heater right next to that and have it coming from the TV.
I did upgrade to the DVD, but I'm hoping the folks here at Hanson's can.
Well, I have an electric fireplace at home that's built into the wall, so
I think they can help.
anything would be an improvement for us. So we're going to talk a little bit about the difference between wood and gas fireplaces and the maintenance that's required for both, and then also just the benefits of one over the other. So
Absolutely, looking forward to it. We're also talking Oriental rugs.
this will be an interesting topic because this gentleman, Albert Borakim from Borakim's Oriental Rugs, he's bringing some really cool samples, and I mean, they're authentic. They're the real deal.
I have to say, I'm looking forward to learning because I've heard of them, but I don't know a lot about them.
Okay. Well, you will learn a thing or two.
Love that. And he's been around 47 years, I think, on Monroe Street.
Yes, and we're also going to talk a little bit of finances with Eric from Pacific Union Financial. That's coming up right after the break here in Wisconsin Family, so stick with us.
'Cause every day is a new day.
Welcome back to Wisconsin Family. We are in McFarland today, filming at Wisconsin Granite, and we're going to learn some things from the folks here later in the show.
You're going to learn us a thing or three.
Thing or three. Looking forward to it. Right now, we're going to learn a thing or three about finances, and it's something everybody needs to think about at some point in time. And we're going to talk to Eric Habenschild from Pacific Union Financial. Thank you for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
So, we've got a lot to talk about, but let's first give people a little bit of an overview about what you do at Pacific Union.
Sure. So at Pacific Union, we're a non-bank mortgage lender. So all we do is residential first lien mortgages, right? So if you're looking to buy a house, we can help you get into that home. If you're looking to lower your interest rate or refinance, we can certainly help you with that as well.
Absolutely, and lots of folks having those needs at some point throughout their lives, obviously getting into a home that's new to somebody, but also refinancing needs are, pop up throughout one's life.
Yes, they do. And what differentiates you from other lenders?
So the big reason, or the big way that we're really different is because we're a non-bank mortgage lender, we're a direct seller servicer to Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and Ginnie Mae, which handles all the government loans like USDA, VA, and FHA. Because of our size, we're I think in 2016 we're going to end up as in the top 10 nationally.
Congratulations, that's incredible.
Yeah. So. Because of our size, we don't have any overlays, right? So an overlay would be something like a lot of banks will cap you or won't go below a 620 credit score. We can go into the mid 500s. So we've got a lot of loan options where some banks say no, we'll say yes.
Okay.
Well, that's really nice to know. And there's some other ways that you really differ from other lenders as well. Share those with our viewers.
Yeah, so the way that we operate is we've got our own, so my office has its own team of underwriters, right? So I've got a direct relationship and connections to the people who are underwriting and approving the loans. As opposed to just your loan going to some national center and to some faceless and nameless underwriter.
Yeah.
I've got a direct relationship with them. And I've got a direct conduit into that approval process. So I control the whole process, which I like because we can actually close on time and close.
That's a crazy idea.
Right.
Yeah.
That is so cool that you have a direct relationship with the underwriters, because I know that as somebody who has had multiple loans and multiple mortgages, that can be kind of frustrating to have these people that you never get to see, you never get to talk to, or kind of deciding your fate.
Right, exactly.
Essentially. So that's kind of cool that you have that connection with folks, and that's good.
Right.
So talk to us about some of the specific loan products that are available to your clients.
So we've got a full product spectrum, right? So we can do everything from your A+ credit, your jumbo mortgages, so those are mortgages over $424,100.
That's a very specific number. You know your stuff.
To like your USDA loans or VA loans, which you don't need a down payment for.
Yeah.
We've got we're very detailed in the different loan programs we have. Our VA loans are excellent. We underwrite those directly as opposed to having to send them to some other lender to make that decision. And so we've got the full product suite. Anything from not so good or bruised credit to perfect credit, big loans to small loans. We kind of cover the.
It really is a
gamut.
spectrum of different.
Yeah, I like how you say bruised credit too. That makes it sound a little less intense.
Well, things happen,
absolutely.
and we can help on
Because bruises heal.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Bruises heal.
Great minds. Let's talk a little bit about that, because you're saying that in some cases you're able to go into approvals for credit scores that are lower than some other places. So if somebody's watching and they've been turned down for a loan, does that mean it's done, it's over,
No.
or can they still come to you?
No, like I said, there's I can't count, on 2 hands and 2 feet and the rest of my body parts how many times someone has come to me who had gotten turned down by another lender. And we've got an approval form right away.
That's incredible.
If we can't get it done, I can certainly help guide you through what needs to be done to get you to the finish line. So, it doesn't necessarily have to be a sprint. It can be a marathon. Obviously our job is to help. And when you're buying a home or refinancing, that's the biggest financial investment you're going to make for sure this year, probably in your life, right?
Yeah.
And so, what our job is to really help guide you through that process and to make sure that we're going to give you a bunch of options so that you can make the best decision for your family.
Yeah.
Well, it can be a stressful process for people because there's so many unknowns and so
Right.
many variables that are specific to you and the circumstances of
Absolutely.
the home that you're purchasing. So it's nice to know that even if it is a no somewhere else, it might be a yes with you.
Right.
And in worst case
More often than
scenario, lots of times he can count. But at worst case scenario, if it is a no with you, to have somebody to guide you into what you can do, because credit is so confusing.
It's the most confusing thing out there.
And to have somebody
Multiple
tell you
different scores
some
and everything.
steps that you can take in order to get to where you will be approved for a loan,
Right.
that's another just great service that you offer.
Right. Well, I appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, real quick before we go, we've got about 30 seconds, but you have some personal experience in the loan industry. Can you talk to us about
Well, I've just been around the block, right?
Sure.
I've been doing this for about 20 years, so I've kind of seen every side of the industry. I've been with different lenders. I've just really kind of seen what's going on. I've managed, hundreds of people, so I've kind of been around the block, and you kind of need that experience to navigate these waters because my job changes daily, sometimes hourly, right? So I've been kind of.
You've been around the sun a few
I
times.
have been around the sun.
Well put. Well, thank you very much for
Thanks.
sharing this with us. Very great information for folks out there. If you would like to get in touch with Eric, he is at Pacific Union Financial. We've got more Wisconsin Family coming up right after the break.
'Cause every day is a new day.
And welcome back to Wisconsin Family. We're on location today at Hanson and Sons Chimney and Fireplace. It's kind of a new location for us, and we're going to learn from them
We're going to learn a thing or two.
a thing or
That's
two.
that's the theme of today's show, is learning a thing or two. So
I love to learn. It works for me. And we're going to be learning about Oriental rugs next. And these rugs are from all over the world, coming right to one of our favorite neighborhoods in Monroe Street. Joining us is Albert Borokim. Borokim?
Yes, Baruchim.
Oh my.
It's okay. It's perfect.
Thank you for joining us today and bringing these samples with
You're
you as
more
well.
welcome.
Love it. Now, before we talk about the rugs, you are of Iranian descent, but you have some really strong roots in Madison. You've been in business for how long?
47 years I happen to be Iranian and I happen to be Jewish. Yes, which is pretty unusual.
47 years, so you started when you were 3?
Yes, 3 years old.
3 years old.
I was crawling when I was showing rugs, yes.
how has things changed? I'm just kind of curious, how have things changed in the Monroe Street neighborhood and in your business, in the industry in those 47 years? I mean, you probably have seen a lot.
I wish I was born 20, 30 years later because with the website, we have really international audience. We sell rugs all over every state in this country: Alaska, Hawaii, Europe, Canada, Mexico. So these rugs are beautiful, handmade, magnificent pieces, most of them from Iran. Those are called Persian rugs, and that's what my specialty is.
Okay, all right. And let's talk about some of the rugs that you have. You brought a few examples with you here today.
Right.
Let's learn a little bit. Let's learn a thing or two about these.
In looking at rugs, the most important thing is country of origin, number of knots per square inch, intricacy of the design, type of wool. Sometimes they have silk highlights.
Number of knots per square
Yes.
inch.
So if you look at the back of this rug, this is a very finely woven rug.
Okay.
It's
Oh, wow.
got a lot of detail. Actually, this is a little easier maybe.
Okay.
And you can see the back is very sharp and crisp. It's got good definition.
It's so nice. It's almost like it could go this way or the other
It's
way.
exactly right.
Yeah.
In looking at rugs, is pixels really.
Right.
The more knots per square inch, the shorter the pile, the sharper the design.
There's like high definition rugs.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And
yes.
that's what makes them so durable. I've heard that these can last for a couple hundred years.
These are called Iranian Bijars. I have the largest selection of Bijars in the universe, including village of Bijar in Iran. They're called iron rugs of Persia because they literally last for a long, long time. They're heirloom quality, they're jewel colors, tough, durable, sturdy. In terms of construction, these are called double warp and double weft Kurdish wool wet weave.
What did you say? Iron rugs.
Iron rugs of
Durable.
Persia. Yes, and they are art under your feet. They are, yes. And these are really investment quality rugs because generations from now, these rugs will still be in perfect shape.
Sure.
The only thing will happen, you get a sheen and patina, so oil in between the pile comes on the surface, gives a nice sheen to it.
Okay.
Yes.
And what about, like, I'm just going to ask about cleaning. I mean, obviously they last for 100 years or more, but, you know, we've got to clean our rugs at home because we've got kids
Right.
and dogs and everything. So, I
And
mean,
you.
and me. So, thanks, Janet.
Yes.
So, what, I mean, are they hard to clean? I mean,
Literally hose them down in your driveway.
Really?
Yes. That's in Iran. They have these riverbeds, and they soak the rugs inside, work in some shampoo, ivory soap or something like that, and then rinse them out and put them on rocks, and they will clean up very beautifully.
wow.
How
Yeah.
amazing that you can have something so beautiful and yet you can like actually use it.
Yes.
You know, there's some things that are kind of like, it's too pretty to use.
Right, exactly. Yeah, you look at this and you say, oh, don't step on that rug, but you can. You're supposed to. You're supposed to
Well,
step on it.
believe it or not, we put these rugs in a foyer, in a bedroom, living room, kitchen, any place, and in front of a shower, I have it, and they last forever, and it's beautiful. It's in this godforsaken weather, 6 months, 8 months of sadness and
Yeah.
Prozac
Right.
kind of weather. It's very nice to have these. These are gardens really inside
Yes.
with so many
Yes.
colors, 25,
Absolutely.
30 colors in each, yes.
Before we run out of time, I want to make sure we talk about, you have a special try before you buy thing that I think is really amazing. Tell our viewers how that works.
Well, you cannot buy a rug from a showroom. What should be able to take the rugs, put them on your floor, keep them at nighttime, daytime, sunshine, if we ever have any, and that's how you choose a rug on your floor, not from the shop.
Right.
Yes.
So you actually let people take the rugs home and try them out?
They
for a
take
while.
them for a day or two and they take a look at them, and most of the
Wow.
time they get hooked. Yes. Right.
They
If
never
you-
come back. Hopefully you get paid for them. No, I'm just
Yes. Right.
So I mean, you're direct importer, so obviously you can offer those competitive prices to people too. So this is not as costly as somebody might think it is.
They are very good investments. Some of them are pretty expensive, but if you think of the amount of work, they're worth it. Yes.
Sure, and you can pass them down from generation to generation.
And
Yes.
it lasts.
We
it's the only
have
one you're going to buy.
We have rugs from a couple $100 up to $40,000.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. that's-
Okay.
You're learning a
Can
thing
you,
or two.
Can you tell us how much these are?
This one is $1,000. This one is $1,200. But we have 9 feet by 12 feet for $1,000. So it really depends on the quality.
Wow. Wow.
Yes.
So we know we're getting quality here with Borokim's Oriental Rugs.
If you are in my shop and you don't hear an accent, you're in the wrong place.
Albert Borkim, thank you so much for joining us today. Don't go away. There's more Wisconsin Family coming up after the break. Stick around.
'Cause every day is a new day.
Welcome back to Wisconsin Family. We're on location today at Hanson and Sons Chimney and Fireplaces, and joining us right now is Greg Rotek. Thanks for joining us, Greg.
Thank you. Yeah.
Now, people love the way their fireplaces look, the way they feel. There's a big safety issue, and that's a big part of what you guys do. So let's talk about that today.
Sure.
Cleaning and inspecting chimneys is probably number one on the list.
Absolutely.
Tell us about that.
Annual inspections are definitely recommended by the Chimney Safety Institute of America, and annual inspections, and we try to clean them as necessary. If there's anywhere from 1/8 of an inch of buildup of creosote or more, we try to remove that from the fireplace system.
Yeah, if you let these things go, it can become quite hazardous. It can be deadly, even.
It can cause some serious property damage. Chimney fires are really no laughing matter, and it's a very, very common occurrence, more so than one would think, actually.
And the maintenance is actually not that tough to have a guy like you or your company come in and.
No, it's a process that we've been doing for a long time, and the technologies keep changing, but the process is still pretty much the same.
A little maintenance goes a long way.
Yeah.
And you mentioned creosote. What is that, and why is it so important that that's regularly inspected?
Well, in the fireplace industry, the creosote end of it is it's kind of a byproduct of that of the wood burn. So the smoke will actually leave a deposit on the inside of the whole system. The problem with it is that that creosote buildup is flammable. It's very, very flammable. Actually, is a flash point of 451 degrees. So we're talking about the same temperature as paper burning.
Wow.
So it's very, very easy to set this stuff on fire.
Wow.
And when you've got a lot of that built up in a system that you're introducing fire to, it can become pretty hazardous.
Right, I can imagine.
and it's one of those things that's definitely out of sight, so not a lot of people are even aware of it.
Right.
It can be pretty hazardous.
So some of the damage can occur and a homeowner might not even know. You mean like to the masonry?
Absolutely, yeah, and that's part of the problem. Even if when the creosote does catch fire, that's what we would call a chimney fire, basically. And I know a lot of people have heard that term before, but approximately 20% of people that have had a chimney fire actually know they've had one. There's still an 80% of people that have no idea.
Yeah.
So you're in a position where damage is done to a system that's very susceptible to heat affecting it. It can cause some real problems.
Yeah, damage and expense, I would presume. So
It can be. I mean, if you're burning a section of your house down, that can be pretty costly.
an
Yeah.
ounce of prevention.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
Wow.
So, what about gas fireplaces? I mean, do they have creosote buildup? I mean, obviously they need to be cleaned still regularly, but do they have the creosote buildup?
Not a creosote buildup. Some can get a little sooty. The actual gas byproduct of the burn will create a little bit of buildup, but it's not a flammable substance. It's not as much of a hazard to the whole system.
Sure.
But there are components in a gas fireplace that do need some attention, need some annual. We just recommend annual inspections on everything. I mean, it's
Gas or wood.
Yeah, it's better to be safe, like you're saying, a little ounce of prevention. But there are components on these gas fireplaces that do need some cleaning and some attention, some refurbishments. We also like to check a lot of connections, test a lot of components just to make sure everything's still working for you.
I think that's good for people to hear because when we think of the gas fireplaces, we love the convenience. They seem so easy, so clean. So it's interesting to hear that they actually need a little checkup now.
A little
and again,
TLC
too.
on everything, yeah.
Right, right.
Absolutely.
A lot of people are converting. Oh, I got to admit, I love the smell of the burning wood, but
Yes.
a lot of people are converting to gas. Can you tell us a little bit about why?
Well, although a lot of people do miss that smell of wood and the crackle of wood, but I think a lot of people are relying more on efficiency nowadays. The gas inserts in gas fireplaces have a really high efficiency ratings, and they also provide a lot of heat for the home, and it's easy. I mean, you're talking about touching a couple buttons on a remote control, and we all know what remote controls are like. But Yeah, a lot of convenience also, convenience and efficiency people are going towards.
When you say efficiency, can you expand on that?
Oh, sure. Even a person with a normal open burning fireplace in their home, every time you use that wood burning fireplace, all the heat from your house is just going to fuel that fire. I mean, the fire will need oxygen from the room. Pulls all that heat out of the house. So a lot of people, when they're using their fireplace, will actually feel the bedrooms being ice cold.
Yeah.
And that's a common thing, but what's actually happening is all the heat from the house is getting pulled out of the house. Your furnace works twice as hard to make up for that heat that's lost.
Seems so counterintuitive.
Yeah.
Very much so.
So it's, as I understand it, it's literally pulling oxygen, which in turn pulls the heat that's already there out of the room.
Absolutely.
The heated
yeah.
air, I guess. Right?
Yeah, it pulls it all out of the house. And so when you're dealing with an open fireplace, I think of it as negative efficiency. You're spending so much money to make up for what you've pulled out of the house that it's just chewing up your energy bill. So now you get a really high efficiency unit in there that doesn't use any air from the house.
Right.
And even if you installed a unit and never turned it on, you're saving heat.
Wow.
Yeah.
That seems like such a no-brainer.
It kind of is. That's what we like to educate everyone on
A
it.
lot of positives to
Yeah,
getting the gas. And
absolutely.
you get the heat.
Yeah.
And you get a lot of heat from
A
these
lot of
units.
heat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, let's talk a little bit about like the look of the fireplaces. We have just about 2 minutes left, but I think a lot of people, as you said, they like the crackle of the wood and everything and the flames. Do current gas fireplaces have fairly realistic looking flames that to look like burning wood?
Sure. Yeah, the technologies have come a long way, I believe. And I've been in the industry long enough to see some of the older units. And they had some great ideas when they were first coming out with these things the past, X amount of years, but now the technologies have gotten so great. I mean, there's embers involved that, definitely twinkle and flash, and the flames they're gorgeous. They look great.
Wow.
A lot of people will come into our showroom and do double takes because they think it's a wood-burning appliance, and it's not, it's gas, so they're great.
So you guys do maintenance on both the gas and the wood, and you sell these as well, the gas?
Yeah, absolutely. We try to make it as, we try to make it everything available to everyone, come into a house if there's any problems with a system. A lot of people like to upgrade. Instead of sinking money into a system, like we said, that wastes a lot of money, we like to try to steer people into a direction that's going to work well for their home.
Convert it over. You can use the same sort of hearth, but convert it to a gas?
Yeah, you use the same area. The open fireplace, we can put inserts into it, and we deal with the gas concepts, and we also deal with the wood inserts that if people really want to stay with wood, they can still.
Okay. So, Greg, we're obviously heading into the warmer months here. Is now a good time to get some of this work done? I mean, people probably aren't thinking too much about their fireplaces, but is now a good time to still get some of that work done?
I think that now is a great time. Once we start getting into the colder months, I mean, we're out of it now, but we're hopefully out of it now. But once we start getting into those colder months, the phones start ringing off the hook. The first cold night, and it's chaotic. But this is a great time. We can spend a little more time with you, with the homeowner going over options on their particular systems, and we can definitely cater to it a little bit better. We've got a lot more time for it now.
And speaking of those customers, I saw you guys have some amazing reviews online.
Oh yeah, we've got some pretty amazing customers and a lot of clients that keep having us back every year.
Alrighty. Well, thanks, Greg. This has been really interesting.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time. Well, again, thanks so much for your time today. And thanks to all of our guests. And thank you for watching Wisconsin Family. We'll see you next time on Wisconsin's 57.